Many economic observers have warned that this Christmas season may be a bad one because consumers may be reluctant to spend money. And supply chain concerns, of course, are making Christmas shopping more difficult too. This week, we saw a variety of economic releases that indicate that may not be the case. Investment advisor Bruce Allen with Bruce G. Allen Investments joins us now to talk more about that. Bruce, good morning.
Good morning, Gary.
So what did we learn this week about consumer spending?
We saw on Tuesday that consumers spent 1.7% more on everything across the economy from September to October. Year over year, Gary, consumer spending has risen over 16%, which is an incredibly strong number. And that means that consumers are spending significantly more money on shopping and on goods and services than they did a year ago.
So what does that tell us about how people are doing financially in this economy?
I think there's two things. One is that if consumers are spending 16% more than they did a year ago, that means that the money that many people have put aside during the pandemic, they are spending that money. And the concern has been, Gary, that with rising prices, with inflation picking up, that would dent consumer spending. What's happened, however, is that consumers are still spending despite inflation. And that's important because consumers represent 70% of the U.S. economy. What you and I spend and what everybody else spends, that's a big portion of what the U.S. economy is doing.
Yeah, especially this time of year for sure. So what does this tell us about the economic outlook for the U.S.? We've been hearing all these horror stories about how the economy is so bad, but it sounds like it's not.
No, the economy as represented by the consumer, which is 70% of the economy, is growing and growing robustly year over year. And from month over month, we're seeing significant increases in spending. And that's very positive news, given that the consumer represents over 2/3 of the economy in the United States. That's a very positive sign as we head into the fourth quarter.
And some third quarter earnings came out this week for a lot of different companies. What did that information tell us? And does that tell us about how the holiday season may go?
It may. I think what the concern has been among many economists, and you mentioned this leading into our segment, was that the supply chain bottlenecks will limit the ability of goods to come into the United States and impact the holiday season. What many of the large retailers announced this week, Gary, was that they are attempting to make certain that they have a larger inventory, meaning they have more stuff to put on their shelves, higher amounts of goods in stock to make sure that the holiday season goes well. They're trying to make sure that at the end of the day, this shopping season, which is the biggest one of the year, it looks more like Santa Claus came and visited your Christmas tree rather than the Grinch.
There you go. All right. Well, we'll get together after the first of the year and find out how all that went. But in the meantime, have a happy Thanksgiving and thank you much.
You as well, Gary.
Okay.